Hello. Hello. Welcome to today's YouTube Live. I'm just waiting for everything to go live on YouTube, which it now has, which is always good. So today I am using the A Good Man stamp set. Gosh, we've got a lag today. So I'm using the A Good Man stamp set to create a quick card. And I'm using one of our new blending brushes, which is always fun. So as you join, do let me know where you're from, what you're up to. And once we've got a reasonable number of people online, we will get started. Hello, Audrey. Hello, Kay. So I hope things are going well with you guys. It's another grey day here in South Oxfordshire. I feel a complete shambles. I have got a little bit of makeup on, but not as much as I had intended. But I'm prepared. That's the main thing. Oh, apart from the fact I've not put one of my lights on. Let me resolve that problem. 1, 2, that's the one, middle one. So always useful to have your lights ready to go when you go live. So let me just check that everything's looking all right there, which it is. Miracle of miracles. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make this card, which, grey but dry. It's a bit like that with us, Kay. So yeah, this is the card that we're going to be making today. Let me bring it a bit closer. I don't know if you can see that I've got some very subtle blending going on. And it is very subtle. It looks like I'm in pitch darkness now. But I did the blending, as in the ink blending, before I did the blender pen work. Sorry, stamping blends work. Oh, and I've just realised I haven't put a liner in. Oh, naughty demonstrator. I will resolve that as we go along. So let's get another couple of pieces of Whisper White out. So yeah, it's actually quite a quick card to make. This isn't going to be a long live. It is going to be literally just making that card. But none the worse for that. Knitting the left front of your granddaughter's cardigan and it's been raining all night and still is. Ooh, I know there's been some horrific weather. We've had a lot of wind. We've had, fences, not with us. We don't actually have a fence. So yeah, there have been lots of fences blown down. It's the rubbish day today, so lots of bins flying all over the place. It's just been interesting, I think is the word I'm looking for. I'm using, to go with my A Good Man, I'm just trying to get something off it, to go with my A Good Man, the So Sentimental stamp set, one stamp in particular. If you saw my blog post this morning, you will have noticed that it is National Hug Day. It's normally a normal hug day. I'm calling it a virtual hug day, but we can still do it. Hello Claire, hello Sherry from Dallas. Wow. There's Dallas in Oregon as well as in Texas. That's confusing for me. And Debbie from Saginaw? That's probably not right, but Michigan. I can do Michigan. Anyway, so I'm going to, as I say, crack on with this one. Let me just change my camera to picture in picture. So hopefully you can see what's going on. So this is the card. I need to remember that top right you won't be able to see. So this is the card that I have made. Let me bring it up a bit and you should be able to see. Oh, Daryl's here. Excellent. You're on the West Coast. Yes, I did know that Oregon was on the West Coast, but I didn't realise that there were there was more than one Dallas. There's a Dallas from you as well, Audrey. Okay, that shows me just how little I know about geography. It never was my subject. Anyway, so I think you can now see there's this very, very soft blending going on in the background. I love this card or this stamp for something like hugs. I think it's amazing. And then down in the bottom right hand corner, I've got, it's only in soft sea foam, so it's not that easy to see, but sending hugs, which I have done from sending healing hugs, which I will show you how I've done it. So I've squished it, I've taken the healing out. So let me show you the things that we need. So I've got half a sheet of card. It's just half a sheet scored in the middle. It's the way I just like to have my cards. A piece of Whisper White for my mat, so where I'm going to do my stamping. I have got, because I haven't put a liner in my existing card, I have now got a spare liner for my existing card, a liner for this card, and my white for where I'm doing my stamping and blending. And then this is from the Flowers for Every Season paper pack, which apparently I seem to have rather a lot of. I was sent a pack for, it's a very long story, but anyway, so I've ended up with 2 packs. So I need to make some cards with the Flowers for Every Season paper pack, because I've got about an inch of it. So on my first one I used, let me find the pattern that I used. So on the first one I used the Just Jade. This is the designer series paper that uses mostly, not exclusively, but mostly the In Colours. It's the In Colours and Poppy Parade. Where is, I'm going to be able to not find it now. Is it that one? No. It's the one with the tulips on. Where's the, there it is. So it's, this is the front and this is the B side. So it's Just Jade, which I think with the very pale part of Just Jade, it's not far off soft sea foam. And with the Misty Moonlight, which is what this is, I'm going to be using Balmy Blue. It's slightly green, but any of the other blues are going to be too blue. Even bluer. Seaside Spray is a bit pink, so I'm going with Balmy Blue. So the first thing I'm doing is, let's get rid of some of this because we don't need all of it. Oh, actually, and a piece of the Crinkle White ribbon, which the actual first thing I'm going to do is colour that. So I'm just going to grab my silicone mat, which desperately needs a clean. The ribbon that I did here is dark Just Jade blend, and I'm going to try both the light and the dark of the Misty Moonlight to see which one I think is going to be best. This is light, so that's light, which isn't too bad. Yeah, not too bad. And then if I do dark, which I'll do at the other end, the dark is slightly greener than the light. So I'm going to bring back in my paper, and yeah, so I'm going to go light. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the difference there. I hope that's in camera. There is quite a lag in the video today between what I'm doing and what's showing. Hello from Lansing in Michigan. So I'm going to use light Misty Moonlight to dye my ribbon because it is drying a better shade. So let's just grab the end and just get that colour down, and then this can be drying while I put the rest of the card together, because it doesn't take long, and particularly on this crinkle seam binding, because it's so fine, it doesn't take long at all to dry. So, and I'll just go over that end there. I'll be hiding one of the ends underneath the card anyway, so that's fine. And then I'll just do that end again just to get rid of any seam between the two. And I'll just hang it up over my tripod thing, and that will be that. Hello, Karen from Scotland. The light works better. Good. Yes, that's what I thought. Hello, Judith, as well. Right, so that is the ribbon dyed. So the next thing we're going to do is the stamping and then the colour blending, as in the adding ink, and then I'll colour the stamped image. So the first thing I'm doing is with Memento Tuxedo Black is stamping this down. Now I will be trimming my card base on this piece of card down once I've done all the stamping and stuff. So that's that stamped. Pop that to one side. Now I've already, with post-it note paper, so it's sticky paper all over, I buy it on a roll, I've already stamped my father and daughter, or whatever it is, on post-it note paper, and I've cut it so that I'm cutting slightly inside the stamped lines. And I'm going to use this as my mask because I want to blend ink onto the white but not onto where I'm then going to colour. So I've literally just laid it over the top, and I can see, because I am very close to it obviously, that there is the smallest amount of the stamping showing outside the mask, and that helps you not get the white highlight. So I've got my Balmy Blue ink pad, I've got a blender pen. This has got soft sea foam on it, but it's such a pale colour I'm not too fussed. I will digress in a minute and show you. I'm trying to see if I can wash ink out of these so that I can use them on other colours, and I'll show you where I am on that particular process in a moment. So I'm just adding some ink, and I'm just going to gently see what that's doing up in the corner so it's out of the way, and then starting on the mask I'm going to swirl out. By starting on the mask, if there is a harsh putting down, it will be less obvious. So on the mask and then swirl out, and it's going to be really subtle, really, really subtle. Where do I get sticky notes on a roll? I have to say that usual place, Amazon. I think it's officially called masking paper. I think you can get it in sheets, but I decided that I would get it in a roll. It's six inches wide, and it's a really long roll. I can't remember how long it is. I will show you the roll in a minute, but it's quite long. So you can see that I've got quite a layer of ink down there. It's not a huge amount, but it's obvious enough. So pop that to one side. I will need that again. Let me just grab. So this is my roll. So there's quite a lot. I haven't had it that long, but it's all sticky. So it's great for masking. Hello from Arizona. I'm glad you like the set. So let me just grab my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to very gently just pop underneath my mask and pull up, and then hopefully you can see that that is beautifully white. Now you could, if you wanted to do a really minimalist card, leave it like that. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all, but I am going to cover it. So the colours I'm using, and I'm only using 3 combos, so I've got Misty Moonlight, Just Jade, and the Ivory and Bronze. It's just reading your message. It's a money saver. I like it. I do like my sticky on a roll. So ivory, I'm going to colour anything that I think is flesh, surprisingly. So her foot, I mean, you could pretend she's got a sock on if you wanted. His arm, his neck, and her arm. Like that. So those are basically the flesh bits. If you layer up, if you want his arm to be darker, just keep layering up. And I would say leave it to dry and then put another layer on, and you can layer it up. Then his shoes I'm doing in bronze, because it's a perfectly good brown. And then what I did on this one, and I'm just going to reverse the colours just for a difference. I did dark for him and light for her, and I'm just going to switch. So I'm going to put Jade at the top and Misty Moonlight at the bottom. So I'm going to grab my dark Misty Moonlight and just colour his trousers. It does dry back a little lighter, but the dark Misty Moonlight is quite dark. So just be aware it is quite dark. And I am one of those people that finds talking and colouring interesting. So I will do what I can. So it's as if they're going to have jeans on this time. My father actually had a pair of trousers that were almost the colour of the Just Jade. It was one of his weekend hippie outfits. He used to spend a lot of time in India and Sri Lanka, and he'd bring back batik fabric. My mother would make sort of pyjama tops, but you know, for casual shirt type pyjama tops, and then his tropical whites would be dyed an appropriate matching colour. And one day when he was out gardening one weekend, some young lads cycled past the front garden and nudged each other and said, "Oh look, there's a weekend hippie." It was actually slightly more exciting wording than that, but that'll do. But yes, so he then got known as a weekend hippie, and his weekend hippie clothing. So that's that. Let's use light Misty Moonlight on her trousers. So that's where we are with him. Perfectly reasonable set of jeans. And I think jeans do have that slightly green tone to them, depending on, you know, whether you're going for blue black or stone washed or whatever. There are so many different sorts of jeans these days. Used to be jeans with or without holes in my day. I used to get my brother's hand-me-downs, so normally with holes and patches. I remember one particularly attractive pair of jeans that my mother turned into flared jeans. Do you remember we used to open up the seam and put a flare in? And for some reason we decided that bright orange corduroy would be a really good idea. Don't know what possessed me, but there we go. So obviously you can use whatever colours you want, but I deliberately wanted to limit my my supplies. I think sometimes we can get a bit carried away because we've got a craft room full of supplies. It can be quite tempting to use the whole craft room, but trying to not go too wild. So, and I don't even mind that it's a slightly mottled colouring, because it's fine. Right, oh, I've missed his sleeve out. Can't miss his sleeve out. And then I will show you how I did their hair. His is easy, hers is not difficult, but is not quite as easy. So that's where we are so far. And then we'll come in, and I can't decide whether that's her neck or a bit of her top or what. Now in the previous one I decided it was a bit of her top. This time I think it's going to be a bit of her neck. So let's grab the ivory again and just touch that in. And whilst I've got this out, I'm going to put another layer on his arm. Because the thing with any alcohol marker is that you can layer up the colour. I'm actually going to put a bit more in there just so that it's shadow. Then bronze again for his hair. And again I will add some more to that, but that needs to dry first. And then I'm going to start with a layer of ivory for her hair. I know, she's got flesh coloured hair. And then I'm coming in, it's a well laundered jumper, absolutely. First time you've seen it being used, being created. Okay, so first time you've actually seen it being used in the flesh, as it were. That's interesting. I love this stamp set. I think it is just, it's one of those, it's a bit like, I like the new one in the mini catalogue, the new men's one in the mini catalogue with him mowing the lawn and just lying in his hammock. I think they're suitably generic. So that's, I might add another layer of ivory to her hair just to lighten it a little bit more. But it means she ends up with a kind of mousy coloured hair. So that's her mousy coloured hair. Hoping that's in camera. So let me grab my mini chopper, and all I'm going to do is chop about 1/4 of an inch off. So I happen to know what my measurement is, so I'm just going to come in 1/4 of an inch in the chop, and then on this side I'm just going to gauge what 1/4 of an inch is, and I've got this to use as my gauge because this is 1/4 of an inch, so if I go there, then that is 1/4 of an inch too. All good enough. So that's that. Now the next thing is to show you how I did the sending hugs. Now I got it right last time, so it's bound to go wrong this time. But what I'm going to do is start by inking up the hugs. And actually in this colour it's quite easy to see if I've gone over. And all I'm going to do is just wipe away anything that shouldn't be there. And then stamp. So we've got hugs. So that bit was easy. We've got hugs. Then I'm going to clean that off and pop it down to sort of dry a bit. And just make sure that it is dry, and then I'm going to do sending. Sending is not quite so easy. So it's a question of sticking your bottom out and hoping for the best, really. And just inking up where you need to go. Now, if you've got Stampin' Right markers, yes, definitely going to be a case of that's probably easier. I need more on the S, preferably without doing what I've just done. And then all I'm going to do is wipe away anything that I don't need. My hands I can wash, the card I can't. Just give it a quick hug, huff, and then all I'm going to do is sort of gauge where I need to be. So I'm going to come in from top, bottom, middle, and just hope for the best. Could use washi tape, could use washi tape, but I did do it earlier, so I was reasonably confident that I'd be able to do it again. I do have that kind of, you know, I can do the hover thing, but yes, washi tape absolutely would be a good option if you're worried. So we've got our sending hugs, we've got our colouring done. All we need to do now is to pop the whole thing together. So the first thing I'm going to do is add, oops, where's my seal? It's here. Is add my card mat or card piece to here. Just going to make sure that I'm happy with the placing it. I'm actually going to trim a little bit more off the side. It's not quite as square as I would like it, and I think that's probably because the first piece wasn't cut the right size. So I'll just trim a tiny bit off. Teeny weeny weeny bit. Yep, happier with that. And then just make sure that's running. And then just do the old rock and roll around the card. And I'm basically doing the corners and the middle of the side. I'm not putting it all the way round. Press that down well from the back and grab my Seal Plus and my ribbon, which is now dry, and as you will see is a really nice match. So really good match for the paper. So is either end, so that's where I had the dark. So I want my ribbon to go roughly there. So I'm just going to turn it over, line it up on the grid paper, roughly, not, you know, precisely, pop down some Seal Plus, and making sure my ribbon is straight, which is where the grid paper comes in to its own, and pop the ends in, grab my snips, which is not the right pair. Oh, they're right in front of me, no wonder I couldn't find them. Just snip that off. And then there is Seal Plus underneath, but I'm just not putting any pressure on. So I'm just going to tuck my other end under there. But yeah, you don't want to lean on your paper, on your project at this point, because you will end up with your project sticking to the grid paper. Not a good look. And then just do a half knot. And this is so much easier than trying to wrap the ribbon all the way round, only to then have to tie a knot in it. It's just using two pieces is just so much easier. And you use about the same amount of ribbon, so you know, this is basically the bit that would have gone across the back. Just take those bits off, throw the ends away, and then this just needs to go onto our card base. So fold my card base in half. I had scored it, particularly if you're doing long and thin. Scoring is a good idea. I've just read your comment, Audrey. Thank you very much. Yes, it worked. Now I am going to put some more Seal Plus over the ribbon. This is a belt and braces job. It just for me means that it's being stuck to both sides. And I'm going to use liquid adhesive for the rest of it. Oops, apparently I'm going to use a lot of liquid adhesive because it's running like no tomorrow. It just gives me a bit of wiggle room. There are 2 layers of paper because it's paper and card. So from that point of view, it's not going to show through but it does mean that I've got that little bit of wiggle room to get it square. And then I tend to turn it over and press. Thank you, Linda. So that's the outside, but we need two insides. So all I'm going to do is take my bits of card, and I'm going to take the same stamp. I'm just going to clean it because it's still got memento on it. And, oops, I've got this thing. I only put memento onto one bit of my Stampin' Scrub. Not Stampin' Scrub, chamois. So, actually, I'm going to use the colour that I stamped the front in, or blended the front in. So I'm going to start with soft sea foam because that's a quicker clean up. And all I'm going to do is ink up the top of my father and daughter. I mean, it could be son with long hair. And then just stamp that down in the corner and come up. So it's very subtle, but it's just something on the inside. So that's that one. Get rid of that. Just very quickly clean up my stamp again so I don't get sea foam on my balmy blue. It's the better of the two ways round, because balmy blue is slightly darker than sea foam. And then ink them up again. Just getting roughly where I'm inked to in my brain. And again, I am just stamping in the bottom corner. So it's not a huge amount. It's just something to tie the front and the back together. So let's pop this one in first with some seal. So seal. And we'll just whiz around the corner a little bit. And pop that in there. Now, if you're in the UK and not already a demonstrator and don't have a demonstrator that you work with, if you want any of these items, you can obviously order from my online store. There's a link to that in the description bar below the video. Even at this stage, that link is here. Some of the other links, so I will put photos on my website tomorrow of these, and I will link from this video to my website once I've got that all sorted out. At the moment it just says to follow shortly because I haven't done it yet, because I can't write, sorry, glue. I can't photograph things I haven't made, if you see what I mean. So there we are. So that's the inside, just a very subtle little mirror from the front, and again on the inside and to the front. So really not complicated, quite quick to put together. The longest thing I think is stamping and cutting your mat, because that does need to be done. But there you go. So not too many products. It's helped me use up my Flowers for Every Season paper. And that's kind of it, really. So do remember, if you haven't already subscribed, do so. Bottom right hand corner to do that. If you want to know when I go live, also click the notification bell, because then you'll be notified that I've gone live. So that's always good to do. Doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and particularly those of you who are overseas or are demonstrators, it's a lovely way to help support me to bring you some more projects. But I hope you enjoyed those. If you did, remember to give me a thumbs up and all that good stuff, and play the YouTube algorithm in my favour. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will look forward to seeing you live again on Saturday at 10. I will have a simple stamping video at 8 o'clock on the Saturday, and then we'll be doing a live again on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock on YouTube, and then my usual 11 o'clock on a Tuesday, and these are all obviously UK times. I will just click over to, bear with me one moment, I will just click over to my end, and then I will say goodbye. So I'll say goodbye and